Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's second video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's second video. Day 10 is going to take us to around the 14th of October. We'll be able to extend out beyond that. The extended GFS and ECM ensembles over around a couple of weeks. And we'll have a look at the CFS V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks. And then we'll have a look at the CFS V2 going out into the winter. More about that in a moment. New feature at Veta. So that will be coming up at the end of the video. So just to say what happened yesterday, so of course we released part 1 of the 5th Winter 2021-2022 update. Yes, there should be a live stream, you know, that goes with that, where we discuss the winter update, but I was a little bit unwell yesterday, had a really bad headache, and, you know, I was felt very unwell yesterday, so the live stream was cancelled, and I'm so sorry about that. You know, if you was waiting for the live stream, then you know, apologies about that. Thank you so much for all of your lovely messages and comments. I'm feeling quite a bit better today. Still rather you know, rather bleary-eyed and a little bit off balance and whatnot, but you know, I'm feeling a lot better. I'm not in pain anyway today, so that's something. Hopefully by tomorrow I'll be completely back to normal. But yeah, it was pretty nasty headache that I had yesterday. So thank you so much to all of you for your messages and whatnot. You're also lovely to meet all of the time. You know, I'm always amazed how lovely you are. So thank you so much to all of you. I'll just say that part 2 of the 5th winter update will be coming up tonight. It's the analog side of the 5th winter update. I'm out to say it'll be coming around 6 PM. But part 1 of the 5th winter update was good, wasn't it? You know, I think a lot of you enjoyed that, especially the last 10-15 minutes when we had quite a bit on the Daddy of Carl Winter 62-63 from a stratosphere perspective. I'm actually going to have more about that coming up for you. The beginning of part 1 of the 6th winter update is coming Sunday, so we're not quite finished with that yet, so there will be more on that for the 6th winter update. But yeah, if you have not seen part 1 yet, then do check it out. It's a good watch. It's got over 4,000 views within 24 hours, so it's very, very popular video. And I say part 2 of the 5th winter update is coming up for you at 6 PM. And I say that's the analog side of things. We're looking at some September data for that one. Please like, share, subscribe on the video. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. I hope you're having a lovely Monday. And let's crack on then with your 10 to 14 day. Because, of course, not being able to do the live stream yesterday meant that we did not have a 10 to 14 day yesterday, so that was a bit of a shame, wasn't it? But we can make up for it for you now. So we've got we're going to start off with Tropical Atlantic. We've got 3 areas of interest. We've got this yellow X just here, heading in towards the Caribbean. That's disturbance 1, but it has a 0% chance of cyclone formation in the next 2 days, and just a 10% chance in the next 5 days. So we don't have to worry much about that. We have Tropical Depression Victor as well. That's giving maximum sustained winds of 30 miles per hour. And it's moving west-northwest was at 14 miles per hour. So this is going to go post-tropical imminently, and then that will be the end of Victor. And then we have Hurricane Sam, I should say, giving maximum sustained winds now of 105 miles per hour. So no longer a major hurricane, but still, you know, a hurricane. Current position of this very long-lasting hurricane is just here. It's going to go in this direction and become post-tropical by the end of the week, stalling somewhere between Iceland and Greenland later on this week and into the weekend, which will help to promote high pressure over northern and western parts of Europe. More about that in a second. Right, so that's the update for everything that's going on there. Let's have a look at centering temperature. Come back to home then. So the CT is now standing at 11.6. Provisional to yesterday, the 3rd of October. That's over half a degree below average now. So, yeah, this has come down a little bit as well. So, we're a little bit below par for you know, for the time of year. If it was to stay there at 11.6, then it would be a significantly milder than average month. But, of course, October is a cooling month, remember. So although 11.6 is a bit below average at the beginning of October, by the end of October, 11.6 will actually be above average, as on average, October gets colder from start to finish. But at the moment, for the rolling average, we're a little bit below normal. GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles looking like this the next couple of weeks. The red line is 30-year upper air temperature average. We're starting off very close to or a little bit below average at the moment. Just keep it that way to middle of the week. Then at the end of the week, the upper air temperatures will lift up. So the upper air temperature become quite warm later on this week. It's associated with high pressure though. So we've got to work out with that high pressure how much cloud we're getting with it and whether we're getting mist and fog night and morning. If we get either of those, then although the upper air temperatures lift up, it will actually, it won't be as warm on the surface. We get to that time of year now where under high pressure, upper air temperatures don't necessarily tell you the whole story, and you've got to look at the exact nature of weather under the high pressure to work out what kind of temperatures and whatnot we're going to get. Now, as we're moving towards the middle part of October and then on into the second half of the month, there's just a general cooling down going on, returning quite close to average with the upper air temperatures in terms of the ensemble mean, which is the white line. There are quite a few ensemble members that are going actually quite cold into the second half of October. These ones down here, few of them are going down to around -5 at 850 HPA, which is pretty cold. Certainly cold enough for night frost in October. So yeah, we might get a little bit of a cold snap around the middle part of the month. I'll have to wait and see. It's all down to the exact position of high pressure, and again, more about that very shortly. In terms of precipitation, we've got one more sort of deluge to come tonight and into tomorrow. Going to be a lot of heavy rain around. Once that is out of the way, though, it looks like we're going to an extended period of dry weather, really. There will be a few showers coming and going on the odd day, but really from around, say, the 7th of October right the way through to about the 17th, 10-day run, does look as though things are going to be really quite dry, especially for the eastern part of the country. Maybe turn a little bit more unsettled there right at the very end. That's very extended range. So it's unreliable, and definitely once we get tonight and tomorrow's rain out of the way, it looks like we've got another really quite prolonged period of dry weather setting up here. So despite an unsettled start, maybe this October will actually finish up very dry. I am really late doing the October forecast from GavsWeatherVids, because I had Terry's October forecast on the first day, on Friday, but I'm late doing the GavsWeatherVids October forecast. I'll try and get that done for you tomorrow, just the way that the calendar has worked out, and the first day happening around the weekend and whatnot. But I will try and get the GavsWeatherVids October forecast done for you to have a look at tomorrow. Let's just have a look at sea level pressure for the ensembles. You'll see that there is going to be like a lift up in air pressure over the next couple of weeks. So at the moment, we've got relatively low pressure at around 1,000 millibars, but by the time we get through to the end of the week, we've gone back up to around 1,030 millibars. And it's not until really late on into the second half of October that we see some of these ensemble members then beginning to go back towards lower pressure. So this is definitely like a prolonged period of high pressure domination that we're going to have from around the middle of the week onwards. Temperature anomalies on the 4th to the 12th of October above average once again. So it is getting milder after this cooler start to October. And precipitation anomalies from the 4th to 12th of October. Dry but average for northern and western areas, near normal to a little bit wetter than average for southern and eastern areas. That's because of tonight and tomorrow's wet weather. So when we look at these charts tomorrow, taking out the wet weather over the next 24 hours, I suspect the whole country will go substantially drier than average once again. So basically back to where we was in September. But I don't think it'll be as hot as it was in September due to the fact that we're in October now and not September. The latest wind flow map from earthnullschool.net looks like that. So we're still bringing in winds from off the Atlantic. Still low pressure, in control of the weather, with winds heading in from a west or southwest direction. There's Sam, by the way. That's Hurricane Sam. If we pull this over to here, have a good look at that. So that is how Hurricane Sam is currently looking. Still very, very intense, you have to say. Not like when it was a high-end Category 4 hurricane, but still really intense out there in the Atlantic. It's going to move up towards Greenland and Iceland, go up to here, and as it does so, it will start to promote some higher pressure. Right, let's start going through the generic charts then. So we have now got the extended UK Met Weather Centre. They've been very busy at Wetter, adding new features. One of the new, over this weekend, one of the new features, but they're bad. I wanted to show you all this in the live stream last night, but of course it all sort of went down the tubes when I wasn't very well, but I make up for it by showing it to you now in this video. Yeah, this is extended. So been showing me extended UK Met the weather outlook. They've now got it to the extended UK Met. It's called UK Met Euro, I think. We can show you the extended UK Met at West. This is Thursday, so we're building up high pressure basically for the second half of the week. That's Friday. Up comes high pressure, pushes the low pressure away to the northwest. That low pressure does contain the remains of Hurricane Sam, by the way. And into the weekend, high pressure really takes over. It's a warm, dry pattern, this, into the weekend. But what we've got to work out is how much fog we're getting and if there's any low cloud and so on. But potentially, by day, if there's plenty of sunshine, we will see the temperature into the low 20s Celsius, I would have thought. We finish up looking like that with the UK Met Extended. This is day 8, Monday the 11th of October. And then it looks like high pressure is positioning itself slightly to our west, so we start to pull in something a bit cooler from the northwest. The temperatures will lower, but still a lot of dry weather, of course, under that area of high pressure. Right, so that's that one done. Let's have a look at the GFS midnight run there. Now, the GFS is on a little bit of a go slow as it's trickling out across the websites today. So I will go as far as we can in a moment with the 6Z. It won't be the full run for the 6Z. And some of the very final stages of the midnight GFS run are a little bit delayed as well. I don't know what's happened with the GFS over the past day or so, but definitely it's taking a long, long time to come out. So this is a midnight run from GFS for Thursday. Again, the idea for the middle and second half of the week is high pressure takes over. So after tomorrow's rain turns drier through the second half of the week, and that dry weather continues into weekend. Large area of high pressure dominates the weather as we go through into weekend, sitting right over top of the country. It's going to be relatively warm with the upper air temperatures with that. Again, if we're getting mist and fog developing by night due to the lateness of the year, that will have a limiting effect on the temperature if it lingers on into day. Otherwise, it is a warm air mass, so if there's plenty of sunshine, we probably get the temperature to around 20 or 21 degrees this weekend. High pressure will sit over the country into the early part of next week as well, bringing lots of dry weather very gradually. The high pressure position is changing though, and it's slipping further westwards. A cold plunge into Scandinavia and pushing down into western parts of Europe, Germany, for example, going into northern winds. We're just on the periphery of that with this area of high pressure, but I think it does start to turn cooler later on in the weekend, and particularly into the early part of next week, especially so for more northern and eastern areas. So we're just sort of pulling colder air, or certainly cooler air, maybe colder air, into the area of high pressure, which means we probably have an increasing risk of overnight frost, certainly ground frost, into next week. That's how we're going to get today. Temperature for 14th of October under that large area of high pressure then. So mainly dry, but a little bit on the cool side. Into more extended range, again, the high pressure just eases further and further westward. So we open the door a little bit more to a little bit more of a northerly influence there by around the middle of October. That's Saturday, 16th of October. Still mostly dry, as we said, with that area of high pressure, but certainly a colder feel with the wind going in to a northerly direction. Proper sort of cold plunge into Scandinavia. I reckon we're going to get some early snow cover across Scandinavia this October, which is, in terms of winter updates, that's something that we like to keep an eye on. We keep an eye on how quickly snow is advancing across Siberia and Russia during October. But another quite important area I always think is Scandinavia. See whether the snow cover builds up there early on. And this could well be an October where snow cover does build up quite quickly across large portions of Scandinavia. with these winds in from the north. So that's how we're looking to get to the 18th of October. Again, the high pressure is over just to the west. And so we're on the cool side of the ridge, so it's not going to be particularly cold. The main cold northerlies with that over Scandinavia, we're on the periphery, but it will be cool enough probably for ground frost at the very least, I would have thought. That's as far as we get to. That was yesterday's midnight GFS run when it was starting to pull in a northerly wind on the 19th of October. This is as far as we get to with the latest GFS midnight run. As I say, there is a delay on the GFS output coming out at the moment. This is the 6 head. We won't get to the end of this, but we should hopefully be able to get day 10. So the 6 head again showing high pressure building up from the south at the end of week and taking over into the weekend, bringing lots of dry, fine weather. There might be mist and fog, but otherwise, if there's sunshine, temperatures will be quite warm over weekend. Into the early part of next week, the high pressure just trickling a little bit further westwards. Cold northern winds digging in over Scandinavia. We're on the periphery of that. It's how far west take high pressure as to whether we start importing some of that cold air in from the east. By the time we get through to the 13th of October, high pressure is moving up towards Iceland. We are opening the door then to those northerly, northeast winds. So it's starting to pull colder air in from the east as the upper air temperatures lowering and bringing in the 0 Celsius ice firm in from the east and from the northeast. That's day 10 with the GFS 6Z. And again, high pressure between Scotland and Iceland, winds in from an east or northeasterly direction. So, you know, it's a cool ridge that after a warm start over weekend next week does turn significantly colder. And, you know, I say colder, not just cooler, but also colder, with a growing risk of overnight frost with winds in from the north. Let's see if we can get any further than that with 6, and I don't think we will. Oh, that's Monday, that's today as well. This gets us to the 15th of October. Again, still on the cold side of the ridge to our north and northwest, still bringing in wind from an east or northeasterly direction. Upper air temperatures aren't desperately cold, but, you know, they're cold enough at this time of year. 0 Celsius ice berm will be cold enough at this time of year to produce overnight ground frost at the very least. I think that is as far as we will get with the 6Z. So let's go back and let's have a look. Yeah, that's Sundays. So that's as far as we get with 6Z at the moment to the 15th of October when we're on the cool side of this area of high pressure. Right, let's have a look at GEM. If you enjoyed the video, then please smash the like button. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Thank you so much for doing that. Drop a comment. Let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. Thank you so much, everybody. We are very much on the cusp of 12.2k, by the way, at the moment. So we did hit 12.2k a couple of hours ago. I think we've gone back to 12.1k now. But, you know, we're on that sort of border between 12.1 and 12.2k. So another 2 or 3 subscribers will get us definitively into 12,200 subscribers. Please give us a sub. Thank you so much for doing that. Right, this is GM, and we've got high pressure again building up from the south over the weekend and into the early part of next week. We're under this area of high pressure. The high pressure to gradually change its position, though. Early next week, it's to sit to our west, going on to a cool side of ridge, pulling in winds from a more of a northerly direction. That's how we look as we get to the end of the GM, which is the 14th of October, day 10. High pressure went away to our north and northwest, winds coming in from a northeasterly direction. And then this is how the ECM is looking. So once more, high pressure builds up from the south at the end of the week and into the weekend. We're under an area of high pressure, mostly dry, quite warm, depending on whether we have low cloud and mist and fog with that high pressure. Early next week, the high pressure just drifts a little bit to our west, allows slightly more of a northwesterly in, and then the high pressure actually comes back in by day 10, sit right over the top of the country once again. So very dry ECM today, and less of a cooler or colder wind from the northeast with that. So that's a rather warmer scenario from the ECM today. Precipitation forecast based on the ECM run shows a lot of wet weather to come over the next 24 to 36 hours. But once all of that rain gets out of the way, the trend is towards drier weather. Low pressure being pushed away to the northwest, taking the rain to the north and to the northwest. Mainly dry for England and Wales in particular. A little bit of rain trickling through there in around a week's time. But the emphasis is definitely more towards drier weather as we're moving up towards day 10. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10. There's lots of red here, showing that high pressure will be in control. It's just the position of the ridge that the options are differing with. This is from the Icelandic Met Office and gets us to the 14th of October. 12 members of the ECM ensembles have high pressure right over top of the country. That will be dry, of course. There could be mist and fog associated with that. Another 9, including the control and the operation run, have high pressure again, more or less over top of the country. Just trying to pull in a little bit more of the wind from the east-northeast. But most dry at that, and reasonably mild, I think. 8 have high pressure again, right over top of the country. We've got 8 here with high pressure more to our west. And so that does open the door to something a little bit cooler or maybe colder from the north. 7 with high pressure more towards Scandinavia will bring in the winds a bit more from the east, which aren't going to be all that warm at this time of the year. And 7 will have high pressure over and side to the south country, low pressure away to the northwest. So that's just trying to reintroduce like an Atlantic flow. But I think most of the options involve high pressure domination at day 10. Just the position of the ridge, that will be critical. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. We'll go to the 19th of October. 30 members of the ECM ensembles have low pressure to our north, high pressure to our south, and we bring in the winds from a westerly direction. So that's more unsettled for the north, mainly dry in the south. And then we have 21 with high pressure to the north of Scotland, and around the high pressure winds are coming in from the east. That's mainly dry, but it could be a bit on the cool side, that with those easterly winds. CFS V2 next. So these are 500 millibar heights broken down into week periods. The first week period will take us from the 4th through to the 10th of October. The coming week will have high pressure dominating over to western country. Low pressure will be away to the northwest. So mostly dry in the week ahead. Week 2 will be the 11th, 17th of October. High pressure to our south and southwest. Low pressure to our north. And winds coming in from more of a westerly direction. Still mainly dry, but a little bit more changeable up in the northern half of the country. Week 3 is going to be the 18th to 24th of October. Low pressure in over Scandinavia and in the middle of the North Atlantic. High pressure is to our southwest, ridging northwards. So again, that does bring a lot of dry weather, especially to more southern parts of the country. And week 4 is going to be the 25th to 31st of October. High pressure just weakening a little bit better, moving eastwards. Lower pressure to north of Scotland. So that's probably turning a bit more unsettled there the last week of October. Definitely the CFS today on this run is suggesting that after an unsettled and wet start to October, the majority of the month, especially in the south, will be anticyclonic. So maybe a dry October overall coming up. Last thing I want to show you is this. So, but we look at the CFS extended at metrociel.fr on our live streams in particular. They've started incorporating that now at Wetter. They've been very, very busy at Wetter Central over this weekend. So I'll just very quickly show you this, I think. So we'll just pull this out slightly. There we go. And we'll have a look, show. This is one of the... So, CFS is run 4 times a day. So that's midnight, 6 in the morning, midday, and 6 in the evening. And then, of course, the overall CFS charts, the anomaly charts are based on these individual CFS runs. So this one is based on the 18Z, the 6 p.m. run from Sunday the 3rd of October. I was going to show you all of this in live stream, but of course it all went down the tubes, as I wasn't very well yesterday, but I'll show you it now. So let's start on the 9th of November, shall we? This is running 24-hourly steps, so at metrociel, the one difference is that at metrociel it does running like 6-hourly steps, whereas out west at the moment only running in 24-hourly steps. So let's start it from 0 hours and just see what happens. So this is going to go like from the 3rd to the 4th to 5th, 6th of October and so on. So first week of October sees high pressure taking over, which is right, of course. We know that's what we've got coming up. A lot of dry weather. CFS is going towards the middle of October. That's my birthday, 17th, bringing low pressure in there, turning more unsettled. And then colder in the wake of that low pressure, with high pressure building from the northwest. Later October, we begin to build up heights over Greenland and start to turn things wetter as low pressure moves in. Also relatively mild there, though, bring wind up from the southwest of that area of low pressure. Into start of November, high pressure taking over towards Greenland and Iceland, turning wind into the north and to the northeast. So quite a cold start to November. And we keep wind in from the north up to the middle of the month anyway, or up to the second week of the month anyway. High pressure, that high pressure is quite a cold reach, so that's a cold start to November. There will be a lot of frost with that at the very least. Into the middle part of November, look at this, low pressure begins to get diverted southwards. High pressure takes over to the north and brings the wind in from the east. So increasingly unsettled, but also cold through the middle part of November. There would be snow potential with that through the middle of November on this particular CFS run. And then sort of low pressure pushes through into the final days of the month, and winds still remain from quite a cold northerly direction. That's going to be colder than average November if that was to come off, and there would be a little bit of snow potential. Beginning of December goes much milder. High pressure slips southwards, winds go into the southwest, and then as we move up towards Christmas, we find that again a lot of high pressure influences, but always in a generally mild position. So after cold November, we have a mild December, certainly the first half of it, with a lot of southwesterly winds. Moving up towards Christmas, though, it gets more interesting. We start to turn the wind in to the north, becoming colder as we get to Christmas, but also quite unsettled. That's Christmas Eve, looking pretty wet and a bit on the cold side as well. That's Christmas Day, also looking wet, and that's mild, with winds in like southwest direction. So a mild and wet Christmas on this CFS run. Quite stormy potentially into the new year. That's the New Year gale that we've got there. Into early January, becoming very cold over Scandinavia by the look of it. And as this low pressure pushes through, got relatively high pressure over Greenland, it looks like we might be starting to open the door to something rather colder as we get through into early January. So, or we try to anyway. So, yeah, let's carry on through there. So that's to the 5th of January. So yeah, we try to turn things colder into early January, and we do for a while, but then it's only quite wet and stormy from the Atlantic. But notice heights really rising over Scandinavia into our north and northeast. So by the second half of January, we are getting wind into the east there. So we've got a bit of an easterly coming in on this CFS run as we get through into the end of January. Remember, wind goes into the north late January, so yeah, back into the east again. So second half of January, much colder. Obviously, there's snow potential in with that, easterly and northerly winds on this CFS run through the second half of January. So it's really November and second half of January, but looks quite cold into February, all looking rather milder actually, and rather stormy into February, although trying to raise high pressure over Scandinavia once again. And actually, yes, not get wind into the east into March. Right, as far as we'll go with that. So it's just basically telling you that the CFS daily runs are now incorporated at West Central, so you can also so you can see those not only at Metro Steel now, but also at Wetter Central. And check them out. You know, go to those websites, find the link in the description, check out those websites for yourself, and have a look at those charts. Right, that's it then. So that's, of course, made this a little bit of an extended video, but then we didn't do 10 to 14 day yesterday for you, so why not have a rather longer one today? Right, if you enjoyed the video, please can you like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much, Jim. That we are on the cusp of 12.2k, so give us a sub, tell friends and family to subscribe as well. You guys see future web content by doing that. At 6 p.m. we've got part 2 of the 5th Winter 2021-2022 update. So much interest in this because we're looking at September data. So winters following very warm or hot Septembers, Does that favour a milder than average winter? We will try and answer that definitively for you at 6 p.m. with part 2 of the 5th winter update. And yeah, so check that out this evening. You enjoy the rest of your just say what's coming up tomorrow. So we're going to try and get the October forecast done tomorrow. Have 7 a.m. forecast to begin with, of course. EC 30-dayer, and also for UK and Europe, and also 10 to 14-dayer tomorrow. So potentially quite a busy day tomorrow. You enjoy the rest of your Monday, and that's all for now. Thanks for watching.